Welcome back to the Whatnauts Reactor Core number 108. We have finally made it to the season finale of The Last of Us. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Ignacio Rojas. Ignacio, how are you feeling? We knew this would happen.
We knew the end had to come at some point. Every journey has its end.
Yeah, I mean, there was very early on the question of like, do you think they're gonna change the ending from the game? But nope,
no,
they did not. So, what did you think? Episode 9, the season finale.
Oh, it was great. It was a great season finale. Of course, we already knew what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew that from the game. The ending of the game is so strong. And so they did a good job portraying that same ending, sometimes even shot by shot, in the show. So in that front, they already had a good ending already prepared. But also the added parts, I think that elevated the show and the ending even more, and it showcased why the show was such a great opportunity to expand what we already have seen in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, I really enjoyed what we got. I loved the new bits that we get like right at the start of this one. I wish it was longer. We were talking about this, right? Being like, man, I hope it's a longer episode. And it was like, it was a good like full hour.
40 minutes.
Yeah, ish.
It was 40, 45, somewhere around there.
Somewhere. But yeah, I still really wish we would have gotten the like almost hour and a half long thing like we got with Bill and Frank's story. I loved what we got. I think the montage of Joel working his way through the hospital was fantastic. Just the giraffe scene, which we finally got. I know I was mistaken earlier on of when that was supposed to take place, but we finally got that, and that was also great. The like heart to hearts that they have, but not fully. Like there's certain things that they're not saying in them, right? But you still like it's implied, and I think those scenes were fantastic. I enjoyed it all around. I just wish we got more. It seems strange to like, why only 9 episodes? Like, it felt like there could have been more in there. I think especially now looking back on this season, Bill and Frank's story just kind of seems like an outlier in the whole thing. It was still a phenomenal episode when it was on, but I almost feel now looking back on it, it just seems like that was there for the awards and kind of lessens their story some, but I still loved it, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. It does stand out how that one episode is the only episode that really deviates from the game. It is completely something different that happened. At most, after that, we got the same story but expanded, more or less. I think that the closer they got to deviating was with the I forget their name, but the town that got where they overtook Fedra and Sam and Henry were. So there we got an expansion. Yeah, we got new characters that were the people that were chasing Sam and Henry, but other than that, it was very bit by bit what happened in the game, just expanding all the stuff. And since now that we're here, I know that after I think it was Sam and Henry, or before that, we were talking about how they were gonna tell the complete story in the few episodes that they were left, and now we are here at the end and we can look back. They managed to do that. They hit everything that they could hit, but I think that at that point when we said that, we were kind of expecting more of what we got with Frank and what we got with Sam and Henry, where they really expanded those stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, going back to Sam and Henry, that got 2 episodes, whereas every other point or major plot point from the game got only 1 episode. We got the Left Behind episode, we got the Winter episode, we got the finale episode. And so they managed to do that. They managed to tell the complete The Last of Us, a video game story in the show. But back to your point, it was a bit weird having those 2 outliers. The episode that is completely different, and the other one that they did something very different and put it into 2, basically.
Yeah. So let's start at the start. We got Ashley Johnson, who played Ellie in the video games, now playing Ellie's mom in this show. We get to see her. She's pregnant. It looks like she got separated from her group. Maybe they all plan to meet at that barn, is what it looked like. And yeah, she's getting there, but she's being chased by a clicker. And
not a clicker,
runner. Yeah.
No, Kyle, the clickers are very different things.
I call them all clickers because that's what they are to me. All right, they're not zombies, right?
Oh, they're infected.
They're infected. Sure, that works. But yeah, she's being chased. She locks herself in this room. I thought this was a fantastic performance by her. It's neat to. I'm sure she has done some like regular on camera acting. But
Avengers. Avengers.
Yeah. I'm just not super familiar with her on camera work, so it's neat to see her on camera. But even more so than Troy Baker's bit in the last episode, everything she said and did and vocalized, I was like, oh, it's Ellie. That's her. But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. And yeah, she ends up getting bit right as she gives birth. Just a wild thing to think about.
Yeah.
What a traumatic experience, though. But this is all stuff that's like hinted at and alluded to in the game. We don't really get much of an explanation other than we know that Marlene knew Ellie's mom, and that's kind of it. So this is also new stuff from from what we got in the game. So what did you think about that?
Oh, it was a great scene. It was a great thing that they added into it. Again, added to what we already knew from the game. Like you said, the most that we knew, it was that Marlene knew Ellie's mom and that she knew her from since she was a baby. Mm-hmm. And now getting this scene, how emotional it was seeing the mom, seeing Ashley Johnson's character with Ellie in her hands, knowing that she is about to die. She even says that she was so afraid to breastfeed the baby, and the baby was very hungry because she knew what could happen. The whole scene was very emotional, very well done. This is one of the best things that they added to what we already knew.
I agree, and which is I think even interesting for me to say, because I think one of the more interesting things in The Last of Us is we don't really know why Ellie is immune. Like they don't really go into detail in that, at least in the game. But here in the show, there is a little bit more of an explanation. It is the fact that her mom got bit at the same time that she was giving birth and managed to I guess just like get her out of her like just in time, where the cordyceps were in there but didn't really do much. And so yeah, now the infection is recognizing it as its own, when she got bit later on with Riley, which is kind of interesting to think about. But with zombie related material, I often like the ones where you don't know how the infection started or stuff like that. I think that that fear of the unknown is interesting. It's scary. Just because you don't know, there is no explanation. Like, this is just something we have to deal with now. And I kind of liked that, not knowing why she was immune, but I walked away from the scene being like, I like this is good. I think this was a great new bit of info that we got there.
Going to that point that you're making as to the new explanation that we got, I am a bit torn. So here, like you said, they explained that the whole her being born as her mother being beaten, they explain it then as to there is a part of the cordyceps fungus in her that is making the new infections think that she is one of them. So they give more of a scientific explanation, if more or less, which makes more sense than the explanation that they gave on the game, where they said, hey, the thing mutated in her, and so we're gonna reverse engineer it into a cure. Whereas here they said, well, we know what's happening. We know that the cells inside her are sending a signal to the new infection, telling you that it's already there.
I think I see what you're getting at.
I don't know if you're getting there. My problem is that by making the whole answer to the problem make more sense, whereas there's no way in the game everyone had the problem as there's no way that they could actually reverse engineer something from the mutation that she got as was explained in the show. Whereas this one makes more sense if they can get the cells, they can grow the cells and turn that into a cure. It makes more sense. But the problem that I have is that in the game, it makes it sound like it happened somehow out of every infected that has happened, every infection that has happened, somehow, by chance, it mutated inside of her.
Right.
Whereas here, it was that her mother was infected, and that as she was born, and so that gave her the immunity. And the problem comes from that
you can replicate that.
You could replicate it.
Yeah.
Whereas in the game, it sounds like there's 1 in a million chance that this could happen. Whereas in the show, someone could very well go maybe unethically, maybe ethically, I don't know.
It's a fucked up experiment, right?
It is a fucked up experiment.
Push and bite.
Yeah. But the thing is that they could do that.
Yeah.
It can happen. And so that's my problem. So technically, you do not need Ellie. Technically, all you need is a pregnant woman and a way to infect her.
Because that is where the emotional weight of the game got us back in the day, right? It was just like, oh shit, she's the only one, and there's no explanation, right? They need her, and they need the people smart enough to be able to extract that out of her, which I mean that could potentially also be another way that they don't get the stuff down the road, is that, hey, all of the smart enough doctors are dead. But that's still, you bring up a great point that they now don't necessarily need her. But also, that being said, the story of the second game, without getting into much spoilers here, is not about the cure. It's about something else entirely. And it's more of a revenge tale. But Yes,
Yeah.
you got me, Ignacio.
Yeah. It takes a bit of the weight out of Joel's decision.
Yeah.
And that phrase that he said that he, of course, made up, where he says, "Oh, there are dozens of people like you over there." It was made up, but it could have very well been true. I mean,
Or if
it
not
has
yet,
been
it
20
will be.
years.
Right.
It has been 20 years. So you're gonna tell me that no pregnant woman has gotten bitten in those 20 years?
I don't know. But yeah, that's some food for thought for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the giraffe scene and their like heart to heart stuff that they have here. Because yeah, I was waiting for the giraffe scene because in the video game, in such a violent and bleak world, this was a scene that was just completely joyous, just so filled with like, whoa, this is so cool, look at it, it's a giraffe, oh my god. And I yeah, immediately when she like, because I was almost starting to think to myself, like, I wonder if they just don't do it. Like, I wonder if they were thinking, like, well, do we do a CGI giraffe? Is that gonna look real enough? Or do we get a real one? How does the logistics of that work? And then, yeah, immediately when he hoisted her up there and she dropped the ladder, I was like, they're doing it. Here it is. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then their heart to heart stuff after, I think is another moment that really makes Joel's decision work and make sense for me. But also it just makes it that much more heartbreaking, right? When he basically all but has like, hey, you're the one that saved me. Like I tried to kill myself and I missed, but I was still dealing with that and hadn't really gotten over that until you. And I think in those scenes, Ellie has, I think by that point, almost gotten a sense that like our relationship has changed. I think I know what's coming. I think I know for them to make a cure, they're going to have to do some stuff that isn't good. And I don't think you're going to let them. Like I think she now sees how desperate people are for whatever out there, right? For food, for resources, for a cure. And if they're that desperate for, food and shelter, why wouldn't they be for a cure? And so like that scene, I think all their heart to heart stuff, I think worked. And yeah, that end scene when she's just like, swear to me, I was just like, ugh, I hate this. Joel, you fucking asshole. God damn it. Like, I hate you, but I love you guys. Ugh. So yeah. What about you?
Oh, I mean, exactly as you said. I think that first of all, the draft scene was very much close to one from the game, and it was great. CGI was a bit spotty here and there. It looked a bit fake, but still, you get the emotion through. But yeah, having the added conversation between them about Joel, how Joel tried to kill himself, and her now being his reason to live. Yeah, it does add a little bit more of a reason as to why he took the decision that he took at the end of the episode. Yeah, it was selfish, but also selfless a little bit, because he is protecting her. So yeah, it is
trying to rationalize
it
as being selfless and protecting the one you love, which is what this story is about. How far would you go to protect someone you love? Right? They've said that multiple times. The creators. but
Also,
yeah, I mean,
was
it's
it his
also just
decision? Was it not? He's kind of not like he's her father, but he isn't her father. And also, did Ellie know that she was gonna die? Because if you remember, I mean, in the game, they made it look as that she wasn't conscious throughout the whole hospital part.
Mhm.
Whereas here, it is a little bit. They do not explain when they would have sedated her.
Yeah.
So you do not know if she ever knew the risk involved.
Right. And
So
I
would
like
she
that
have
was my
gone through
that was kind of my
dying
point
for it?
just a little bit before this is I think she was putting the pieces together that she probably was going to die to get this cure, or at least not
I
have
don't
any
know.
kind of real life. Like she'd be
Yeah,
experimented on nonstop.
yeah.
And that would fucking suck. Um
I mean, if I were in her shoes, I think that I don't think healing her would be the first thing to do. I don't know. You draw some blood, test it. I don't know, whatever, and maybe killing her is down the road, not the first thing that you do. Hey, we finally found you. Now we're gonna open you up.
yeah. Well, I mean, like Marlene has known her for a while. They could have already done some of those blood tests previously.
No,
Um,
no, they wouldn't have because
why
she
not? Of just like, well, you got bit and you're still here. Let's take a look here.
when we saw
Back
when
in
Marlene figured it
Boston.
out. Yeah, we saw when she figured it out. Would she have made any tests?
I
Could she
I
have made any tests?
I guess I was under the impression that she kind of knew for a while. Like when Ellie came back and I mean, she was sitting there being like, okay, like do the alphabet. Like she is running tests on her.
Yeah, but not blood tests.
Well,
She
that's just one
is
we
testing out if
didn't
she's gonna
see on
turn or not.
screen.
Could she have any equipment to do any blood tests?
Maybe. Why not? She can get all sorts of
It's
stuff.
apocalypse.
Car battery,
What
cars,
are they gonna
guns,
go to their
ammo.
local hospital?
Hey, she could have stolen stuff from Fedra.
Oh yeah. Hey,
Because she
let's
does that
do
all the
food,
time.
water, and get me that blood testing machine.
She might not get the machine, but she might get like a syringe so that she can get a vial of her blood and then send it off with whomever, right? So that they can be like, all right, let's take this back to the Fireflies, so we're not in the QZ stuff there.
Okay, so say that she did that. When would she have talked to Ellie about killing her?
She didn't talk to Ellie about killing her. That's not what I
Then
said.
okay. Then why would Ellie think that she would have died? That she would have to die.
My point was she is starting to put the pieces together. She has now traveled across the entire country, met a bunch of different people in all sorts of walks of life, all different. Whether they're in a QZ, like their own thing. They're raiders. They're people who've just gone off the grid or started their own thing. And she's constantly seen how desperate people are for all kinds of resources, which, I mean, she knew, right? She's grown up in this, but it's different from being in a Fedra school to just being out on the road. And I think as she's thinking more and more about this, she's starting to be like, my blood is a resource. People are desperate for resources enough to kill to get them, to fight to protect them, to expect. Like I'm like she's almost being objectified in this. Like they won't see me as a person. They will experiment on me. They will lock me up. They will do all sorts of bad stuff that I won't like. And I think she's like she might not have concluded, oh, they'll kill me. But she's starting to be like, this probably isn't going to be a like good for me in terms of my existence. But I think what's also apparent is like what I think she was about to say to Joel at the end was like, look, I know this person died and this person and this one after them, and I couldn't save them, but I could have saved so many other people. I think she was willing to sacrifice herself to be like, look, I know this will suck, but I'll do what I need to do to help. That's how I see her and read her, which then just makes Joel's decision seem that much more selfish when he didn't take her into consideration. Her thoughts.
Yeah, but at no point where was she agreeing to give up her life for this? Going back again to the conversation,
not explicitly.
Yeah, but again, going back to the conversation that she had with Joe about him trying to kill himself, he said that he was ready to die. He was good with dying, and then at the last second, he wasn't. And so
he said he flinched, and he's been dealing with that.
I mean, even if he flinched, he could have. Okay, next bullet.
Right. So
but he had a choice. The thing is that he got to the moment and had the choice to actually back out of it. Whereas Ellie at no point had a choice to saying, sure, open me up. I know I'm going to die, but do it. She never had the choice.
She still does have the choice if she, well, I feel like we're both dancing around a very similar thing, right? Yes, you are right that she was like, hey, we're going to use you. We're going to take this stuff out. She was not given that choice specifically. But like I said, I think she's putting it together that something like that is going to happen. And she's coming to terms with that, being like, I'm okay with that, even if that is what happens. But you're right, no one has explicitly told her that.
But she was okay maybe up until the point before they got there. But again, going back to Joel, he was okay with dying until he wasn't, until he was faced with the actual decision about life or death. And then he changed his mind. Whereas Ellie never had the chance of actually be there with the choice in front of her of life or death.
Yeah.
Maybe she was okay with it before, but she never had the choice at the moment.
That's also something that is explored in the second game. And her relationship with Joel, as even though they haven't really explicitly talked about it, she knows what happened. And their relationship after that. So I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was fantastic. And the divisive ending, polarizing. A lot of people are gonna walk away being like, oh, but now they're like father and daughter. I love them. Like, they must be protected at all costs. And then other people are going to be like, man, what a fucking asshole. Joel is a piece of shit. Like, I hate him, right? And that's exactly what happened with the game. So I think bravo that they knocked it out of the park with this. So good stuff. Do you have any other kind of final thoughts with this or wishes for season 2?
No, I don't think I have any more thoughts on the episode. I think that we already talked about everything that had to be talked about. Other than that, one might have a problem with the scene of Joel going through the whole hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the game, it makes sense. It is a game. Of course, you are the one-man army. But then in the show, man, how did no one catch Joel?
Right? Exactly. in the game you have to sit there and like bandage yourself up because you get hit multiple times and stuff.
It is a video game. You get shot,
right? Yeah,
just walk it off.
Rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine.
Yeah, this is supposed to be closer to real life, and yeah, we knew that scene had to be there, but that doesn't make it any less ridiculous how Joel could take out the whole hospital.
It's not even that, but it's also he does the like one shot, one kill thing for most of them, and it's just like, man, there are people out there who are that good. I understand that. Joel found his calling when he got to be a smuggler, and he was good at this stuff. I understand he is good, but he's like, that's some like ex-military training bullshit to do, like one shot, one kill, reload here and not get hit at all, take out a whole hospital, right? Just it's ridiculous. That being said, I think for me in season 2, I want more of the infected. That I think is a huge thing that we didn't get to see much of in this, that I'm kind of disappointed in that we didn't see more of. But it is what it is. It's not really a story about the infected, so I can see why they minimalized it. But yeah, I want more infected, more clickers, more runners or whatever, more bloaters, right? So also, I need a scene where they're starting up a generator. I think of all of the like head nods to like the things in the game, the whistling, the guitar, the I can't swim, the joke book, the porn magazine. The one they missed was starting up a generator. Yep. So hopefully we'll get that in season 2.
Speaking of not being able to stream, that never came up again.
Yeah.
Not once.
That is what like we've kind of been a broken record of, like they do the head nod, they mention it, and it's just that one mention, and then they move on, and it just, I like those details, but show me more of it.
Yeah, and the thing is that they could have done it this episode. So in the game, the way that the Fireflies catch Joel and Ellie is because they had to go through something, and then Ellie drowns at one point. Mm-hmm. And so while Joel is trying to resuscitate her, he gets knocked out. And that's how, as I was saying before, in the game, you get the notion that she was knocked out unconscious because of the drowning, and then they could have gone right from there to sedating her. Yeah. Whereas here, you get that she was still conscious when the Fireflies got her.
Picked her up, yeah.
And so they could have done something there with her not being able to swim and then drowning at that point. But they didn't. It never came up again.
Yeah. So hopefully they can... It still just baffles me of like why they decided on 9 episodes.
They were gonna be 10 apparently, but they merged episodes 1 and 2.
I gotcha. But even still, like 12 episodes would have been great. 13 would have been great. Like I think you could have really expanded that story and worked on their relationship, shown us more of the infected, some more of Joel's violence, right? Or more of Ellie like learning how to be violent.
They could have added more stories in between in the whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully that will be the case for season 2. But I think that is our reaction to the finale. There you go. We made it. Good stuff. That being said, Ignacio, where can the people find you on the internet?
They can find me on Twitter at Ignacio Rojas B. That's IGNACIO ROJASB.
Cool. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer. And if you guys would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are, of course, at the Whatnauts. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. You guys know the deal with all of that. If you're watching the YouTube version, go check out some more of our other videos right over that way. But yeah, we'll be back soon for some Mandalorian action, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.